I mean, so at this point, we all know the situation that happened between Chris and Will Smith, and everybody's like, "Oh, Chris should have got his lick back. Chris should have got his lick back." And I kind of gotta disagree. You know, it's not that I'm against violence. It's just I feel like we could have handled that way better. And I feel like I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but Chris should have went into the audience and slapped the fuck out of Jada because that's who started this whole goddamn situation. Can we please talk about it, please?
Let's talk about it.
A fucking vibe, a natural high. Put the fucking tools in the air when I arrive. Don't act surprised, be down to ride. When you see me come alive. Put the fucking tools in the air when I arrive.
What's going on, y'all? It's Santana, aka Chi, and we back for another motherfucking commentary video, bitch. We talking about it. Listen, because everybody in the goddamn motherfucking world is talking about it. And before we even get into this video, if I didn't say it, it wasn't said. Remember that at all times when you watch my motherfucking content, okay? But let's go ahead and get into this because everybody has been talking about this Will Smith, Chris Rock situation for the last year. It feels like the last 10 years. It feels like y'all been talking about this shit longer than COVID been around. Like, I can't. Okay. And I wanted to say something then, but I didn't. So listen, thank God I didn't because who knew? A year later, we still be talking about this goddamn shit, right? But Chris Rock recently came out with, his little stand-up comedian special or whatever, because we got the Oscars coming next week. And so we back to talking about this shit. Now, before we go ahead and get into this topic video, I am going to set the record straight. This video is not going to be for the Protect Black Women crowd. Okay? Matter of fact, none of my videos are. But if you are the type that it don't matter what a motherfucking black woman do, as long as she black and she a woman and she got a pussy, because you know how y'all do. It's Black Lives Matter till it comes to a trans girl, right? Yeah, y'all, you know how y'all do, okay? Listen, so like I said, if you the type where it's like, oh, we protect all black women just because she black and a woman and got a pussy, this ain't the motherfucking video for you because I'm probably going to trigger a few of y'all hoes. Okay? But nonetheless, fuck the disclaimers. Let's go ahead and get into this goddamn shit. So we all know a year ago, feels like 10 years ago, but a year ago, we had the infamous Oscars happening where Chris Rock was hosting, right? He made a joke about Jada's alopecia, her bald head, or whatever. And Will Smith took it upon himself to get angry, go on stage, and slap the shit out of Chris. Everybody felt the way about it. Everybody was divided. You had half the people saying, oh, no, violence is wrong. Oh, my God, why are you doing that? This, that, and the third. And then everybody that was on the opposing side was like, oh, why are y'all just trying to act a certain way in front of white people? It's really not about the violence, but it's about the acting right and proper in front of white people. We're not about to go through all of that. Because I don't care that goddamn deep. What I want to say, Will should have kept his hands to himself. Y'all can sit and play semantics all goddamn day and be like, oh, but he's talking about somebody's family. Oh, this, that, and the third. You talking about my family. I would have said something too. But you at the Oscars. You are Will Smith. You had multiple Oscars, Grammys. You got all of that under your belt. You are a multi-millionaire, billionaire. Like, you have been couples goals forever. Like, people have idolized you. Like, you have blockbuster movies. You are literally a legend. I am legend. You should be conducting yourself as such. You are supposed to be a motherfucking superstar, and yet you are acting like you're at the bottom of the totem pole. And a lot of people don't understand that. Again, people are like, well, you talk about my family, I'm going to go off too. He talked about his wife, this, that, and the third. And it's just like, it does not matter. You're at the Oscars. You're at a celebrity event that is being televised, that is literally going all around the motherfucking world. Like, this is a worldwide moment right now. And on a worldwide stage, a worldwide platform, you choose to slap this man. Some people feel like, okay, well, the slap was enough. That was enough punishment. Just the ridicule and the gossip and his name circulating, that was enough. Some people feel like, oh, the Oscars is going too far by not inviting him back. And y'all can argue all day about all of that. Again, I really don't give a damn. I feel like keep your hands to yourself. Because had Chris retaliated, had Chris came back with his brothers and they jumped him, and it could have went on and on and on. It could have went on and on and on. I feel like if you are a celebrity and you are getting paid millions upon billions upon whatever, go seek some therapy. Go seek some motherfucking therapy, okay? Which is a valuable topic that we are going to talk about, okay? Which is kind of the point of this goddamn video, because so many people were in distress about whether Chris was wrong or whether Will was wrong and who did it, and it's just like, I love how everybody just kind of like forgot that this all started with Jada. Now, again, those of y'all that love to protect Black women by any means and zero accountability, this is not the video for you. Or maybe it is. Learn something. You can learn from this, right? Because we all watched, we all sat with our popcorn and chewed and watched as they sat on a red table talk discussing all of their goddamn tea. And we even called it out. We even said, soon as the red table talk happened, we said, ooh, Jada and Will and the Smiths, they're doing a podcast. Like, this is kind of beneath them. This is kind of, you know what I mean? Because 20 years ago, it was like you had your A-listers over here, then you had the B and C listers, and you had the reality stars, and it's just like we didn't intermingle. Now, all of a sudden, everybody want to do every goddamn motherfucking thing. Okay, if you were an actor and a singer and you were a celebrity, now all of a sudden you want to be a podcaster and a chef and a YouTuber. It's all intermingled now. Okay, now they want to come and take all the little people's jobs, right? And so Red Table Talk was born. But we all said it when Red Table Talk was first introduced. We all said, Jada, we don't know if this is, how is this going to work? Y'all come from a certain what is this going to be like? And now 2023, we see what the fuck it's become. And so that brings me back to my point, because here we have Will Smith, who reacted to a joke that Chris said about Jada's bald head. Now, mind you, they're, to my knowledge, weren't close. I look at you, visibly, you have a bald head. I'm just like, what's up, Baldy? Oh, you about to play the role of G.I. Jane or whatever the fuck he said? Harmless. And y'all can try to trauma bond all day and say, you never know what a person is going through and but we talking about a fucking comedian. We talking about a comedian. We knew what the fuck Chris Rock's job was when he signed up to be the host. They purposely went and got a comedian because he was going to tell comedy. He was going to stand up there and do comedy, tell jokes, more than likely Jones on the people in the audience, right? So y'all can sit and say, oh, you never know what a person's going through. And I mean, in a sense, you're right. But in terms of the situation, baby, no, that doesn't apply here. You're at the Oscars. You know that the host is a comedian. You happen to be in the front row. Like, it just is what the fuck it is. And apparently, there's even more tea than what the fuck we thought had you watched the stand-up special, which we'll get to in a second. But back then, my initial thoughts as everything was going down and everybody's weighing in with their opinions and shit, I'm just like, so nobody's gonna like look at Jada? Like nobody is gonna look at Jada. Everybody's like, oh, Will is a demon, this, that, and the third, Granted, you are a human being and nobody should have the power to make you do anything, say anything, do anything, whatever. But at the end of the fucking day, let's call a spade a spade. This is reality. And in reality, words do affect people. People are moved by actions and people are moved by feelings of other people. And sometimes love makes you do some crazy fucking things. And when you go into this perspective of Will Smith, who literally, more than likely, did not want to do a podcast opening up about his life. Come on, we talking about the Smiths, who have literally been so fucking private since the beginning of fucking time. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we want to tell all our business on a platform. Like, for what? For what? For what? Right? And so you cannot tell me that Will was totally down with the whole podcast and a red table talk. He probably wasn't, but he probably said, you know what? This is what my wife wants. This is what my business partner wants. So I'm going to go along with it. Happy wife, happy life, right? He probably didn't know what the fuck it was going to amount to, what it was going to become, right? But see, here's why Jada is such a necessary part of this equation, right? Because she wanted that podcast. That podcast went on, did however many episodes, however many shows as it did, and they told their business openly, publicly. We found out about the entanglement situation and everything that was going on with August Alsina from August and Jada. And then Jada turned right around and on that same platform interviewed Will. And what world do you get cheated on? And then the person who cheated on you with somebody else says, let's sit down and have a conversation in front of the world with a camera. We always been private. Even if, we done fooled around in the past and this, that, and the third, we always been private. But you know what? Let's sit down with a camera. And mind you, at the time when this information came out, right? Because I think people have ADHD or retard. I don't know what the fuck it is. I'm not about to diagnose you, even though I could, okay? Because it ain't that damn hard. But in between the time of the entanglements and the slap, there was so much going on. I don't know if you guys remember, but Will Smith was literally in the news cycle every other fucking week, right? Because he had a book to promote at that time. And so every other week we were finding out something new in everybody. Because I remember specifically YouTubers who were blogging about the situation yo, we are tired of hearing about the Smiths. We're about to put them on mute. We're about to mute them on Twitter. Because every fucking week it was something new. And it was something that was you could have kept that to yourself. You could have kept that a secret. So when you consider all of the things that I just said, and then we get to the Oscars, right? Because mind you, if you read Will's book, it's not a secret that Will has always, in his entire life, felt like he had to go above and beyond, right? We could typecast Will as being the Drake, the pretty yellow boy, right? Who people probably looked at as weak. And because it's crazy how, Will was dark skinned, or if Will was a woman, we could easily point out colorist conversations and this, that, and the third. And y'all swear to God that y'all don't be acting colorist towards people that aren't darker. But okay. Because I've definitely seen colorism in terms of it happening to darker skinned people, but I've also seen it on the opposite side. Now you could say, by definition, that's not what it is, but baby, you're still a bitch. You're still an asshole. Okay? Because there are people that do go out into the world and feel because what was me, or because I'm not as privileged, I have challenges. Why you would want to go throughout life looking at your identity, your skin color as a challenge, but okay. Y'all got to be more mindful of the words and the things that you accept. Okay, the power of the tongue, baby. Okay. But there are people in this world who will look at somebody who is technically privileged and try and make their life harder, right? And Will has always struck me as the can I get a hug type of nigga, right? Like a Trey Songz type of nigga, like a Nick Cannon type of nigga, maybe a nigga that was goofy or nerdy or was just seemed weak, right? And Will has even said it himself within his book that he has always felt weak. He's always felt like he's had to go above and beyond to defend and this, that, and the third. So when it comes down to the whole Oscar slap, that's why I say I don't really give a fuck. Because on one hand, yes, be more professional and this, that, and the third. Okay, but he wasn't. And I can understand why, because that was something that triggered him. And then for me personally, because I'm into spirituality and astrology and all of that, I go super deep with it. Okay, you want to know how deep I go, baby? Down in the comment box below. Go to my website, book your motherfucking reading. Okay, because I can do a whole astrological breakdown of what was going on that night in the stars. Okay, and how it affected Will, because it was a direct impact. Okay, the transits that was happening was a direct impact, and that slap was a direct result of all of that. Okay, so baby, book a reading down in the comment box below, right? But considering all those things, him growing up feeling very weak and feeling I need to go above and beyond, especially for the feminine energies in my life or whatever. And I could actually go through Will's chart and tell you how much feminine he is versus masculine. Has nothing to do with being gay. Listen, it's a whole spirituality, astrological thing, right? But he always just felt deficient and not good enough and weak. And it doesn't help that you have your own Black community more than likely telling him that he's weak. Okay, but y'all, listen, y'all only recognize colorism when it comes to dark-skinned people. So maybe I'm talking to a wall. I don't know. If that ain't the word, it's something. It's something. Nobody should be feeling like shit. That's how I look at it. Nobody should be feeling like shit. Brown skin, light skin, whatever. Okay? But all his life, he felt a certain way. So him slapping Chris, I didn't really, it was just okay, because I can see how he was triggered. But again, I'm a person where it's let's go to the root of the problem. Let's not start in the middle. Let's not start with the slap. No. Let's go back to the beginning. And the beginning is this goddamn podcast where they started telling all of their tea. And then in the months leading up to the slap, it was like a downward spiral of information coming out, making Will look like a simp, making him look like a fucking welcome mat. You know how many jokes it was online about and the jokes with August Alsina and Jada and entanglements, those have been around since they spoke on it, which was 2019. But there was been jokes. Like even during the media takeout days, there were so many jokes and rumors and shit about them having an open marriage and that Will Smith was secretly gay and dating Dwayne Martin. And so, like, again, even with me saying all of that, I can understand Will being frustrated, right? But who decided to open up the store? Jada. Who decided to sit him down for an interview? Jada. Now, we can argue all day and be like, well, nobody put a gun to Will's head and this, that, and the third. And no, nobody did. Nobody did. But this is what happened now. This is what happened. Because we could call out y'all relationships, right? Those of y'all that sitting here dealing with a fuck nigga, a nigga ain't shit, right? You knew the nigga wasn't shit, right? Whose fault is that? You ignored the red flags and still decided to be with this nigga. Now this nigga beating on your ass, but now you want all the sympathy in the world, right? But if I say you're the dumbass for ignoring the red flags, then I'm the asshole, right? No. So let's keep that same energy. Let's keep that same energy. If we're gonna call a thing, let's call it a thing. Jada was toxic, and I feel like Will and Jada were in a codependent, toxic ass relationship. I do. I feel like maybe not psychically, but like psychologically abusive relationship. That's just the vibes that it gave me, right? And so I don't know. I just don't see how people look at this situation and just automatically go, okay, well, it's not about Jada. It was most definitely about Jada, right? Now, with the slap, I don't feel like the slap was necessarily about Jada. I feel like that was pent up energy from childhood. That was trauma coming out. Again, the stars. It was a lot going on that literally caused that direct impact to Chris's face, right? But it was pent up Chiron type of energy, pent up trauma from his childhood, right? And I do feel like Jada is to blame for a lot of that. I do. I know we want a strong Black womaness and protect Black women, and no, just the same way that you will want to cry out for help, or you will want somebody to acknowledge your pain and this, that, and because it's funny how, because now we get into a different subject, right? Because this is why I have such a disdain for the Protect Black Women crowd. And I don't mean all people, and I shouldn't even have to say this, but I mean, you'll know if I'm talking about you, because baby, I'll be talking about you, right? I don't mean everybody who says protect Black women, right? Because I believe protect all Black women, protect humans, right? When they're right. I'm not protecting you if you're doing some fuck shit, okay? Listen, I say it all the time. Be honest, be you, but I'm not about to go down and be out there marching for you, and you want some fuck shit, right? Because some of y'all just deserve that shit. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying please be like, y'all know how y'all like to carry and take it somewhere else. Stay right here, okay? Stay at the root with me, right? But I feel like in today's society, it's like, especially with Black women, it's protect Black women, but then it's like you tell men stay out of a woman's business, and then you go and degrade men. You make them feel. First of all, it's been fuck niggas and fuck boys, and I hate men literally since I was a fucking kid. But yet y'all keep fucking dating and procreating with them. Make it make fucking sense, right? But then at the same time, you want them to stay out your fucking business, but you want them to pay all your goddamn bills, but then you don't want to give up no pussy. Like, we can really go down. We could really go there, right? Make sure that you subscribe, okay? Listen, let me go ahead and drop that intro again, just to make sure that y'all hold to subscribe, okay? Because we about to get into it, okay? We about to get into some motherfucking things.
I'm a prize, a fucking vibe, a natural high. Put the fucking tools in the air when I arrive. Don't act surprised, be down to ride. When you see me come alive. Put the fucking tools in the air when I arrive.
Did y'all like this motherfucking video yet, huh? Okay, because listen. I feel like there is when it comes to accountability, women have none. I feel like a lot of niggas don't either. And I feel like both sides are wrong. I feel like women be wrong, and I feel like niggas be wrong. But the problem is that when you look around, so many of these blogs are ran by women. So many of so much of the content that we watching on TV, whether it's Housewives, Basketball Wives, VH1, it's all women. And all we hear is niggas ain't shit, and how toxic podcasts and barbershops are. How about the nail salons and the hair shops? Like, it's just as fucking toxic. And what kills me with this situation is how people can look at this and just purposely ignore the part that Jada played in all of this, right? Which brings me to my next point, right? Because I had already always felt the way about her part in it and what I felt like she was doing in this situation and how she stood silent, right? Y'all supposed to be a unit. Y'all supposed to be one. If Will gets banned, she needs to get banned. No, she didn't do the physically attacking and all of that, and nobody made him get up in this, that, and the third. But baby, it's all connected. It's all connected. It's all connected. We're going to take it back to the root. Okay, we starting at the root, not at the middle. We starting at the root of the goddamn situation, right? And so when we bring it to 2023, now Chris has dropped his special. I'm watching it. I'm searching for the tea, listening for the tea, just like everybody else. I'm like, okay, Chris, when you gonna get to it? When the fuck you gonna get to it? The special must have been 2 hours. I'm gonna say must have been 2 hours, if not an hour and a half. Baby, when I tell you this nigga ain't started speaking about Chris until literally like the last 5 minutes, I said, okay, he done scammed all of us, but okay. But then again, I mean, because people was already looking at Chris like, oh, you still talking about it, this, that, and the third. And it's like, what the fuck you expect him to do? Okay, like I would have done the same goddamn thing. If you done hit me in front of everybody, in front of the fucking world, oh baby, pay me for my pain. Pay me for my pain, because I'm gonna beat your ass right then and there. But then again, I got, okay, because a true millionaire, a true star, okay, I'm a legend, I'm an icon, I'm hosting this awards, I want to keep my gigs, okay, I want to keep my money, I want to keep my bookings. Maybe I'm not gonna react. Maybe I catch your ass backstage, but maybe I'm not gonna react. Not publicly, not where cameras can see, right? Or the alternative, I could get paid off this story, right? I could go on a comedy tour. I could get a stand-up special. What is it for? 25 million with Netflix? Okay. What? And at first I was like, okay, we're doing a whole stand-up special. I'm thinking he about to be on stage for 2 hours talking about this shit, especially when it's called selective outrage. And it was none of the sorts. Literally, I kid you not. Maybe within like the last 5 minutes, it was like, okay, we started getting into the Will shit, right? And mind you, before the special came out, we had already heard some of the jokes online just to like give people a little preview of what was to come. And so, you know, as I'm listening to it, I'm like, oh, ha, 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 ha. Like he's taking the, oh, you hit me, but let's talk about how, like, instead of going in on Will, he more so made the jokes about him at first. Okay. At first, he was like, you know, we always see Will with his shirt open, but you see me with my shirt open in a movie. Even if I'm getting open heart surgery, I'm gonna be wearing a fucking, hoodie, a fucking sweatshirt. And it's like, I see what you did there. It's like, let's talk about the slap, but let's like make it about me. So it's not really a tap on Will. And then it flipped and it got dark and it went somewhere out of nowhere. And then Chris started doing too much. Okay, because I was on the side. I was on nobody's side. I was on whoever was going to slap the shit out of Jada side. Okay. But then at some point within those last 5 minutes of him talking about Chris, it turned. And personal problems started coming out because he started getting a little bit angry. And he basically would have fought that man had that man been on stage right then and there. And I was like, ooh, you are hurt. You are embarrassed. And this is a little... Now y'all gotta go check it out for yourself because I don't really remember it. Listen, I was tuning in and out. I was just there for the team. It was a cute little special, I guess, whatever. But I don't really fuck with male comedians like that. I fuck with female comedians, okay? But it was cute. But my point is that somewhere in his little 5-minute rant, Chris brought up how all of this came about, right? Because again, y'all wanted to make it so isolated and make it just seem like Chris just called his wife a bitch and Will got on stage to defend his wife and slapped him and that was it. And it was like, no, there was actual history. And once Chris started talking about the actual fucking story, it's like, oh, so that's what happened. Because apparently, and don't quote me verbatim, baby, Google is free. Okay, but apparently there was a situation that happened and I don't know all the motherfucking details, bitch. All I know is that Jada started the shit. And so Chris ended it. Okay. And then Will try to intervene. That's basically what the fuck happened. So it's Jada's motherfucking fault. Okay. She popped off at the mouth. He finally had a stage where he could say something back. Okay. And that's what the fuck it was. And so I damn sure as hell don't fucking feel bad. I damn sure as hell don't feel bad now. And again, y'all can protect that women and not that. I don't give a fuck. He should have got off that stage and slapped her. Okay, you want to get up here and slap me? Bitch, I'm going to slap him and go slap your wife. Okay? Play with me if you want to. Play with me if you want to, okay? Especially now that we know the motherfucking background details. It's like, play with me if you motherfucking want to. You thought you had the upper hand, but then you want to get your husband involved, and then now, like, no, absolutely the fuck not. And this is what the fuck I'm talking about. It's like, this is what I mean when I say, like, just the shit that women be doing that I just don't agree with. It's like, we got all of that mouth, and we can say whatever we want to niggas. And when they say something back, then we want to attack their masculinity and attack their sexuality and why you in a woman's business and this, that, and the third. We want to get all up in their face and be hitting on it, but then tell a nigga you can't hit a bitch back. Like, make it fucking make sense. If Jada started that shit and Chris would have slapped her, I would not have given a fuck. I would not have given a fuck. Because learn to keep your hands to yourself and be careful of who the fuck you talking to. But for Jada to have started all of this shit and then Will to have reacted and slapped him for her, like, you don't think that they was pillow talking at home? And Will probably already heard from Jada that she don't fuck with this nigga. And Will was probably already on some like, oh, when I see him, when we, get a chance, we probably gonna have a little powwow one-on-one. I'm gonna probably address the situation. He probably didn't think that he was gonna put hands on him now. Okay. But, there's no way in hell that Jada wasn't feeling some type of way and did not, at some point in time, say it to Will. And again, this is why I say, fuck the whole, we're not about to protect Black women and shit like people been trying to do. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that because there's so many times where women will literally place their man in the line of fire just because they look at this nigga as their protector and this, that, and the third. And again, when they're not, then it's like, oh, you a bitch nigga, you a simp nigga, you a weak nigga, right? And again, we're talking about Will Smith, who has already felt like that all of his goddamn life. Clearly, Jada's the more dominant one in the relationship, in the marriage, in the business partnership, right? So you cannot fucking tell me that Jada did not make these comments to Chris and then go home to Will and pillow talk and talk about how she felt a certain way towards Chris. Now, we can debate all day whether or not it was Will or Jada's influence, okay, from telling Will about her feelings towards Chris. But at the end of the day, the slap happened. And I really do believe that she went in pillow talks. And just like women do, y'all get into these niggas' faces, y'all get into these problems with these niggas, and then you expect your man to go and say the fucking dad. And that's what the fuck happened. And so that's why I feel like somebody need to run up on her. Where's one of Chris's girlfriends? Is he married? Where's Rochelle? Okay, where's Rochelle? Where's what's his baby sister name? Tanya. Where Tanya at? Okay. Even if he ain't got no little sister, girl, let's get Tanya from Everybody Hates Chris. She old enough, right? She an adult, right? Girl, go over there and slap Jada. Okay, slap Jada for Chris. Okay? Because what we're not about to do is we're not about to do the tit for tat. And then when I come at you now, it's an attack on Black women. Oh my God, he's a weak nigga. He's a gay nigga. He's a cool. Like, we're not doing all that. We're not doing all that. If it's true what Chris is saying, how Jada started all of this, then I don't see nothing wrong with the events in which it happened. Baby, you try to embarrass me. Now I'm on a platform hosting the Oscars and you sit in front row. Now I'm about to embarrass you. Okay, and make it look like a joke. Okay, but what we're not about to do is have it be this woman starts something with a man, and then when a man claps back, then the woman wants to get the man. No, we're not doing all that because y'all love to do that dusty ass shit, and I'm tired of it. Okay, and you know what else I'm tired of? Fucking talking, girl. Listen, we take it to the outro. Let me know down in the comment box below what the fuck y'all thought of this goddamn subject. I mean, listen, comment your thoughts and your opinions. Has it changed since you heard my commentary, bitch? Let me know down in the comment box below, okay? And listen, if I didn't say it, it wasn't said. Okay, if I didn't say it, it wasn't said. Make sure that y'all hoes go and join my motherfucking Patreon, okay? Because I am doing story times again, okay? And they not going to be up here in full length. So go join the motherfucking Patreon if you want story times and my old story times. Remember my classics? Go join Patreon, baby. All the links is down in the description box below, including how to book a fucking reading, okay? So I love each and every one of y'all hoes, okay? In HD, in blurred HD, okay? Enjoy the motherfucking outro, okay? Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts as if I give a fuck. And make sure you stream my music as if you give a fuck. Bye, girl. Bye. And see, that is what we're going to go ahead and end this video. Now, remember, if you hated me for that opinion, don't worry, girl. There's a lot more where that came from. Just make sure that you like, you comment, and you subscribe and turn your notifications on. For extended videos and exclusive content, including full episodes of my new weekly podcast, Let's Start There. Make sure that y'all go ahead and subscribe to patreon.com/SkySantana.
And also, make sure that y'all join the Bandit mailing list in the description box. So that way, y'all hoes never miss a video. Make sure that y'all follow me on Twitter so that we can engage and argue back and forth. And, you know, just stay tuned for the hot shit that's coming to you, bitch. Okay? I love y'all. Bye.
I'm tryna fuck now, so baby, let's dance.